guys, we're live. It's the Florida Gambling Boys once again. We're at the Seabreeze Lounge as usual here in Palm Harbor, Florida. It's the Florida Gambling Boys football frenzy. We're halfway through the season. It is really hard to believe. You wait so long for this season to come around and boom, it's like over before you know it. But that's all right. We got a long way to go. A lot of good content to bring with you. To my left, it's Midwest Tommy Teist. Tommy, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sean?
To my right, it's Super Dave Kreuz. Dave, as always, welcome to the show.
I'm glad to be here. I do exist. It's been a long road to hoe.
You exist. A lot to talk about this week, college and pro. Before I get into college football, we did have the NFL trade deadline come across this week. Anything that stuck out to you guys, Tom, Dave?
I thought the Lions made a great move, and he will attest to that.
Zadarius Smith, that's a big pickup.
That's a big pickup
for peanuts.
And not only that, but he can get you pressure on the outside. He can actually move to interior if he has to. He's a big guy. He gets a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. He did really well in Cleveland. He's going to do great in that concept, that defensive concept.
I agree.
That they have in Detroit. He's going to be a great player going down.
For
the
what,
road
a fifth-round pick?
Two fifths.
Two fifths, whatever. That's garbage.
I mean, he's an aged player. It's a contract that's
to get a guy like that.
Keep him around.
Yeah, it's a nice contract to pick up. It's not
and you're trying to find somebody to pitch in and take the pressure off what loss was Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to take his place. I almost dropped an F-bomb there, but I didn't.
No, he's the best defensive. He was the best defensive end in the league.
He might have been defensive MVP this year, had he not.
What he was doing
on the pace he was on.
What he was doing the first 6 games.
Well,
I think
Tannenbaum wanted us to give up 3 first rounds, a second round, and
Screw Mike Tannenbaum. He's a hack.
For Myles Garrett.
Mike Tannenbaum is a stupid production
crap move
of ESPN.
Well, why would you trade your future away? I mean, that was insane. Giving this is a 10 times better move.
Mike Tannenbaum was never a good GM with the Jets.
Yes.
And now because he sits next to Mike Greenberg, he's going to sit there and chomp at the bit right next to Greeny.
That's why Clark walked off the set.
And that's why I don't watch anything on ESPN in the morning. I won't watch First Date because I hate Stephen A. Smith. And I won't watch Get Up because I hate Mike Greenberg.
Oh, God.
I can't stomach him. I think he sucks. And he's got a bunch of kiss-ass
Mr. Jet
totes around him. Oh, yeah, he's Mr. Jet, Nick, Giant, whatever, man. Come on.
I'll say that the other 2 winners are the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs.
For the receivers they got?
You picked up Amari Cooper and you picked up DeAndre Hopkins. And then Dallas is like, oh, well, we'll trade you a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo.
How do you give up a 4th rounder for...
And just lost when you could have had...
for Jonathan Mingo?
For a 3rd-rounder.
Well, that's just Dallas being Dallas. We all know that.
Your 82-year-old general manager who has no grasp on what's going on in the football world. And he says, oh, we'll give you a 4th for Jonathan Mingo. First of all, Jonathan Mingo can barely find the field in Charlotte. And second of all, there is no way you give up a 4th rounder for him. At most a 6th, maybe contingent 7th.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, but I just thought that was atrocious. As far as my winners, I'm going to say 2. As much as I hate to say it, the Commanders, what a great deal to get Lattimore from the Saints.
That was a great deal.
Because their defense, as good as they are, and they're 7-2, their defense has been adequate at best. Not a great pass rush. Linebacker's okay. Secondary's decent. But Lattimore makes a big improvement for them.
No, for sure.
Not like there's a lot of people they have to beat in the NFC East.
But you know what's funny about this year's trade
Eagles
deadline?
The Eagles are going to come, but I will get into that.
Yeah. This year's trade deadline, I really thought a lot more was going to happen. And it kind of fizzled out this year.
I really thought Cooper Kupp was going to get dealt, and the Rams are going to try to get out of his deal.
Rams came back up.
That's why they're not trading.
I thought the Cleveland Browns were going to be big sellers.
Did you really think they would trade Myles Garrett?
No, but I thought they would trade Ward.
That would have made sense.
And I thought they may have, and I know this sounds crazy.
That would have made a lot of sense.
They may have traded Chubb. You got 2 years.
There's a health issue with Chubb. He can't stay
there
healthy.
is, but
If you have a healthy Chubb, do you get at least a third rounder for him?
Yeah, but for a team that needs 3rd and 2, that's a perfect guy. He doesn't have to play every
So
down.
because he's not healthy, if you trade him, what do you get, a 5th or 6th?
You get a 4th.
I think that's stretching it, but okay.
Yeah, you get a future 4th. You get a 2026 4th.
So I'm going to say my winners are going to be obviously the Commanders getting Lattimore. And everybody out there can call me a homer, whatever you want. I'm a Steelers fan. Yeah, I am. But bottom line is, they went out and got a receiver to complement Pickens in Mike Williams.
Right.
Which, not the one I wanted.
He's a little long in the tooth, but
at 31.
Like I say, he's a little long in the tooth.
And one of the better third down receivers statistically over the season.
But he's now a possession receiver now instead
and that's
of a guy.
fine. They're good with that.
Yeah,
and that lets a guy like Van Jefferson bump down to the 3.
Right.
So you're good. But they also got a pass rusher on the defensive line. They got Preston Smith. And I thought that was a huge pickup from the Packers.
You know, it's funny about the Steelers, too. How many times in the past 10 years have they been players at the trade deadline? Very few times.
They don't believe in it.
Right.
They don't like to give up assets.
So what I'm saying is, for this year, for them to go out and do this, there's a confidence there in this team that they feel could possibly win that division and get deep into the playoffs.
I think the last one they made that was big and significant was when they gave up, help me, the receiver from Notre Dame with the long hair, we're number 11.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Running reverse ends and catching passes.
Yeah. But like I said,
they traded him to Chicago for a second. They stole a second rounder from Chicago.
For Pittsburgh to do what they did, I think they have a lot of belief in this football team this year. And I think they have a lot of belief in Wilson after the last 3 weeks.
Well, I think that's huge, and I think they realize that Russell can stretch the field.
Yes.
And with another weapon, it makes him even more dangerous.
And that's why they brought in a wide receiver.
And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
So, guys, for a change, let's start with the NFL this week.
Okay.
Since we're talking NFL, a couple things. I'm going to ask you guys a little random fire here, just to see what you guys think. Let's start with the Seattle Seahawks. Are they real or are they a fraud? 4-5, halfway through the season. I'm going to say fraud.
They have a tough schedule coming up.
They do.
Their next 7 games, 4 of which were playoff teams last year.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not going to be an easy task.
They're not a playoff team. They're as far as I'm concerned,
They
they're
could
fraud.
be.
I'm not a fan of their coach after the boneheaded decision I saw last week in overtime. So I'm done on them. Dave, what do you think?
Geno was a resurrection last year.
Right.
He was.
Seattle was on the comeuppance.
Not this year.
Unfortunately, Pete Carroll's gone. It's a whole new lineage with a whole new young coach who's got to cut his teeth in the NFL.
Yeah, McDonald hasn't done anything for me.
He doesn't have NFL experience as a head coach.
As a coordinator, yeah.
As a coordinator, sure. But he doesn't have his pieces. He's not running the game the way he wants to run it.
So
I'm not saying they're a
You made a great
fraud.
point, Dave.
He's got talent. He's got pieces.
Well, that's a talented football. That's a good roster.
But they're not going to be able to piece it together.
You made a great point about Geno having to come up last year, right? But you know what? Here he is at home last week against somewhat of a beat-up Rams team.
They got a lot of
and he
pieces
throws 3 touchdowns to bring him back into the game. But he throws 3 massive picks, 2 of them in the red zone. It just can't happen.
No,
and they've
it
got
can't.
probably on paper one of the 5 worst offensive lines in football and probably one of the 5 worst defensive lines in football. They get no pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, but they're 4-5. They're still
Immobile Matt Stafford had all day to throw the ball last week, but be that as it may. All right, here's another one for you. NFC East. Eagles? Commanders. Because I'm throwing the Cowboys out at 2-6. They're done.
Commanders. Sorry.
Now they play twice down the stretch. Eagles
Here's
play
the
the
thing.
Eagles.
I would be going with the Eagles had it not been for Sirianni. Sirianni makes some of the
Boy,
most.
he's pulled some bonehead
He
decisions.
just makes some of the most bizarre play calls and bizarre decisions
I
at
agree.
inopportune times.
I agree 100%.
And I'm going to tell you something. Philadelphia's roster is better than Washington's.
Pound for pound, the Eagles have one of the top 5 rosters
But
in football.
Washington is better coached than Philadelphia.
But now, how serious is the A.J. Brown knee injury?
We'll
Because
find
that
out going
team
forward.
changes on offense when he's not around.
We'll find
And by
out
the
going
way,
forward.
But they picked up Saquon, so
did we all see
Right.
the Saquon reverse hurdle last week?
they had the tush push. Now it's the rump jump.
The rump jump.
My God.
I love that, Dave.
I've never
I didn't
seen-
hear the rump jump.
You
That's
know,
great.
I'm not a Saquon fan, but I've never seen anything
I'm a
like
huge
that in my
Saquon
life.
fan. I think he's a
To
tremendous.
jump backwards
tremendous
over, how do you
football
have eyes in the back of your head like it's going to happen? And
player. He felt the pressure.
wow, that was
I
an
was
amazing
more curious
play.
if he released the pressure to get just the extra inch.
But it's going to be interesting. The Eagles are at Dallas this week and home for the Commanders next week.
They split that.
And traditionally, they struggle with Washington.
They'll split that, and they'll be 7-3. They're
6-2
right
now, yeah,
They
yeah.
split that. They're 7-3, and they're still quite fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the Eagles
So I'll
went
say
10 and
another
1
one.
and then lost the rest of them last year.
I'll ask you another one. I'm going to say NFC North. Ravens or Steelers?
That'd be AFC North.
AFC North.
I like the way the Steelers are playing, and I'm going to be honest with you, based on the roster, based on what they have, this is Mike Tomlin's best coaching job he's ever done
In a while.
in the NFL. Oh, it's his best in, 17 years, 18 years?
18 years.
This is
yeah.
his best job. But I think the Ravens are a really good football
He
team.
did have a
and as
Super
long as
Bowl.
they stay healthy,
But
I
how do
think
they continue to lose bad games like to the Browns,
the Ravens will be fine at the end of the
to
year.
the Raiders?
The Ravens will be fine at the end of the year.
'Cause you
But do
started
they beat the
Justin
Steelers for the
Fields.
division?
Yes.
It's a big difference.
Yes,
it's a
they
home
do.
game, and
Yeah, they win. No, the Ravens win that division.
all right, Dave.
Derrick Henry going to the Ravens was one of the biggest. Why he didn't go to Dallas and how you let him go to the Ravens was
Right.
one of the biggest things this offseason that I was like, this is going to get ugly and it's
He's
going to
that
get
damn
ugly.
good.
It's just that system is built for that person. So
Totally correct, Dave.
just
Yeah,
here we go.
totally correct.
What Mike Tomlin is doing, fantastic. You're a wild card team. You're gonna cause problems. You're gonna knock other people out. Pittsburgh Steelers will knock other teams out
agree.
to solidify themselves because they're playing solid Steeler ball. But they're
I
not.
think they're
not
both
playing-
11-6 football teams at the end of the year, and it's going to be come down to
The tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker.
See, I put Baltimore up in the 12 and 13.
Steelers have an especially difficult schedule the last end of the
The
season.
last 6 games are
They still have 6 games left against division opponents.
yes.
every
They
divisional
also
game.
have who's the other big one?
Kansas City
They
and
got
Philadelphia.
Kansas City.
They got
They got
Kansas City.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's
no,
it.
this is not. They don't have an easy ride going forward.
No, so you know
Their
what?
easy ride was the first 8. And
Are
if you're
they-
a Steelers fan, you had to come out of that first 8 at 6-2 just to give yourself a chance.
And we're happy with
And they
that.
did it. And they did
And
it.
they could be 8-0. They lost to a bad Colts team on the road by 3.
Accidentally.
But
Yeah, you're right.
But when you look at that schedule, back on July 4th, you
and
go,
they
hey,
lost on Sunday Night Football to the Chargers, and when a game they had to lead with 10 seconds left.
you come out of that.
That's Jim
You look at that
being Jim.
schedule on July 4th, and you say, hey, we're 6-2.
We'll take it.
We're in good shape.
We'll take it.
Yeah. So
I agree with you both. They're a wild card team. I think they're the 5 seed,
Yeah, the
and
5
they'll
seed.
play the winner of probably the AFC South. And we'll get Houston.
the Colts
And I
again.
don't think Houston's that damn good.
Houston's gonna
Look,
find,
I love C.J.
Houston's gonna
Stroud what he
find out
did last
Sunday
year,
night.
but let me tell you what. When C.J. Stroud is without Stephon Diggs for the year and without Nico Collins for the year, it's a different team. He's
Every
got
quarterback-
nobody to stretch the field.
Every quarterback is like that when you lose your 2 best weapons.
Every second-year quarterback is like that after they get a year of film on you.
Damn
Yeah,
right.
and
That's
they can
why
figure you out.
You got a year of film and you
Dave,
lost
you
your 2
stole
best
my
weapons.
freaking words.
You got a year of film and you lost your 2 best weapons.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Look, I love the mixing edition in Houston, but without those guys, it's not the same.
Nope.
What did Stroud do last week when they lost 9 of 22, 9 of 23?
He didn't get a chance to throw the ball.
No, I mean, it just, come on. So anyways, and I had one more question. Do the Jets get back into this? Their schedule in the second half is light.
No, that's all I can tell you.
Can they get back to 10-7, 9-8? I mean, they're 2-6 now.
No.
Could they go 7-1 or 7-2 down the stretch?
That's not even a question to ask. That team's horrible.
I'm just going to go with the RELAX.
Yeah, I'm a
Relax.
hard no on that.
Relax on the Jets' potential. Aaron Rodgers needs to go home and relax. You fired your coach. You demoted your offensive coordinator. You brought in Devontae Adams. Let's sell some tickets. But, hey,
So-
Jets, if you make it anywhere, you're
Why
not
not
going
going
far
anywhere?
My
anyways.
last question will be, does the AFC West get a second team in the playoffs? What's up? We know the Chiefs are in.
Chiefs are in for sure.
Do the Chargers make it? Now,
The only chance for it is the Chargers.
I was down on the Chargers this year. I know you were on them.
I was on them to be competitive.
You thought they'd be a playoff team.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did. I watched the video the other day.
I
Dave was on
got
me.
to go back to week 1, but I spent 6
Yeah.
hours at the bar making my
you
notes.
were.
So
Yeah.
You were on
it
them as
was-
a playoff team. I went back and watched it the other day.
Jim knows how to play ball, and he brought a quality style to the Chargers, and it's given people fits.
So now
Can they sneak in? I'll go with an okay.
they won
I
last
love
week
what Bo Nix is
against
doing.
your Brownies.
Yep.
So
I
they're
love what Bo Nix is
5
doing
and
in
3?
Denver.
They are 5-3. Correct. No, they haven't shot at the playoffs.
They just got to beat
Yeah,
out
they're going to be
like
on the
a
road wherever they go, but
Cincinnati on the way, Pittsburgh on the way. I don't see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I still think they're a 9-8 football team.
I think they got a better chance than the Dolphins or the
yeah,
Jets.
for sure.
So the East is
Oh,
a
yeah,
wash.
for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll let the Chargers sneak in, or Denver,
I like it. I like it.
or Bo
Yep.
Nix just getting
be.
crafty.
So let's give since we started with the NFL for a change this week, let's give our NFL picks for the week. Tom, Dave, you want to start, Tom, or Dave?
Real quick, I got Washington home covering the 2.5 against the Steelers. I think that's easy money for Washington.
I don't think it's easy. Well, okay, I'll let you say your piece.
And I got the Lions -4 at the Texans.
Interesting game.
I got the Lions covering that all day long.
The Lions have just turned into, I hate to say the bad boys because
Yeah.
there was already a bad
But they've been a
boys in
cover
Detroit.
machine.
Not just
They're America's darlings right now.
not just no. We've become the assholes of the NFL.
It's okay.
We're beating your door down like
Just-
the big bad
just go
wolf,
out and
not
cover and
hu-
do your
We're not
fucking
even
thing.
we're not even huffing and
Pardon
puffing.
my, I didn't
We're
mean to
just
drop that
going.
F-bomb, but
Yeah, no, I mean,
The
I think the
Lions
Lions
are just gonna
I think the Lions are
roll 'em.
one of the best football teams in the NFL, and I think they go to the Texans, who's an inferior football team,
I
with the
think
quarterback that's struggling, and I think they cover that 4. It's real. That's easy, guys.
Okay, so you got the Lions and you got the
I got Washington.
Commanders.
Yeah, at home.
And we were both on the Commanders last week. Easy cover. I went 2-1 on the pros last week. Dave, how did you make out in the pros last week?
1-1.
Okay. You only do 2 picks in the.
That's only do 2.
Dave, what do you got in the NFL this week?
The NFL, I'm going to go with, I love what the Rams have been putting together over the past several weeks. The Dolphins are traveling to the Rams, and
That's
the
the
Rams
Monday
are
night
given a
game,
point
correct?
for Monday night. The Rams started off 1-4. They're 4-4. Puka's back if he doesn't catch a suspension.
Stop throwing
or
haymakers
throwing
at
a-
people's helmets.
It was retaliatory.
I don't care. You don't throw punches at people's helmets.
He's too young to know. But I just feel the Dolphins are reeling with Tua coming back. And Aaron Donald, not defensive player of the year, not Hall of Fame, but Jared Verse has come into the league to replace Aaron Donald and has put up some problems for a lot of defensive or for a lot of offensive linemen. He can get after Tua, cause the Dolphins a problem. Long road trip Monday night. I'm going to take the Rams,
Okay.
giving a point.
What else?
Long shot. Mahomes finally has more touchdowns this season than interceptions.
Yeah, I know.
He has 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. Denver's given him 9.5. The lines moved down to 8 on some sites. I'm going to take Denver to cover that, if not flat out win, because I think Denver's hungry, and we were just talking about that. Who's going to sneak in from the AFC West?
Could be them.
Bo Nix has
That's a good call,
18 touchdowns, I think, on the season.
Dogs in the NFL of 5.5 or more are hitting it over a 70% clip. That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
So this game fits right into that category, Dave. So you might be onto something there. Anything else?
I'm not confident in it. But San Francisco and Tampa Bay.
I'm with you.
Is Debo back? What Tampa showed me against Kansas City.
A lot of heart.
Despite all the missing pieces.
Right.
They're still playing ball. And if you want to call it you should have gone for 2, fine, whatever. I've been through it with Dan Campbell. I trust the man that's making the decisions. Let's play this game. Baker's leading that team. I think Baker can at least cover that. If not, keep them alive, because it's put up or shut up time.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so you're on the Bucks getting 5.5. You're on the Rams.
I'm on the Rams. I'm on the Lions. I'm on Denver.
Oh wait, you said the Lions, so that's 4.
Yes.
So
I fully agreed with the Lions. The Lions are just going to
Rams, Lions, Denver, Tampa.
Rams, Lions, Denver, Tampa.
Okay. So to that I'll say, my only issue, and I looked at this game long and hard this week about the Rams-Dolphins game. I thought Miami's offense looked really good last week on the road against Buffalo.
It does.
They lost in overtime. Shit happens. The Dolphins, you know what I heard interesting? And it wasn't on Get Up or any of that BS, but on Adam Schefter's podcast, he said Aaron Donald is one phone call away.
We're hearing that.
And he would come back. But nobody's picked up the phone and called him.
Right.
And he's like, otherwise I'm good in retirement. Because
Detroit has a lot of cap space.
Well, he can come back for whatever he wants, league minimum, whatever he wants to come back and just play.
Oh, I think we'll
see. As far as the Bucks, I'm on a different side this week. I am on the Niners. McCaffrey's going to play. I was really disappointed in Todd Bowles last week that the fact that you're on the road against Patrick Mahomes. Go show some nuts and go for 2 and win the damn game. Because you know history, if Patrick Mahomes gets the ball back in overtime, you may never see it again, and you're probably going to lose. Go for 2. You're on the road, Monday Night Football. Your season at 4-4 is on the line. They never saw the ball again. They lose. Now they're 5-4.
If he fails going for 2, then we criticize him just as much.
Yeah, either way, he's damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
I'd rather him go out swinging, and I'd have his back and support him all day long for doing that.
Old school defensive coach. I have his back for having the nuts to say, let's go to overtime.
But his defense isn't that good right now.
It was good enough to tie them up.
Well, defense don't tie it up, but anyways, so I'm on the Niners this week. I'll lay the 5.5 at Tampa. I mean, I know Tampa's desperate because you go 4-6, write the season off. You're not making the playoffs. So I'm on the Bucks. I'm gonna, Tom, you're on the Commanders this week. I can't bet. I'm a Steelers fan. I choose not to bet that game, but I can never bet against Mike Tomlin coming off a bye. What I do like is the over-under in that game. I think it's way too low. The total's 45. I'm on the over. I really am. I'm on the over. What we've seen from Jaden and all that, what the Skins have to offer. Man,
There's a lot going on.
Steelers defense is good.
Back down to college.
But I'll take my chances on the over there. And my third pick is going to be the Eagles against the Cowboys. I think the Eagles are rounding into form. Now, I hate the fact Jaylen Brown's probably going to sit this game out. But with Saquon, yep.
I'm just going to give a quick shout out here to Ron Gambles. He's been watching us. I'm not sure if it's YouTube but we are in Florida, Palm Harbor, Florida. We are at Seabreeze Lounge, and we are so grateful you're watching. And if you have any questions, give us a call.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate doing that, Tom. So just to wrap me up, I'm on the Eagles. I'll lay the 6.5. So I'm on Eagles, Eagles, Niners, over in the Steelers-Commanders game. So that's it for the NFL. So let's go to college. Guys, it's not the greatest week in college football.
But it's still a great week because it's still here.
But it's still college football, and we're happy to
one of
have
the
it.
best weeks of the year.
I mean, I only say that
You got
because
Georgia, Ole Miss. If you lose that, they're out.
All right, so
Alabama, LSU, you're out.
It's put up shut up
This
time.
is put up
Let's
shut up
go.
week, man.
But
This is big.
outside of those two games, there's no nationally, no ranked teams playing each other. Is this maybe a week that a couple teams slip up? Does Florida stand a chance to go into Texas?
I think Texas covers that 21.5.
I did too. Dave?
I'm going to say Florida, Texas. Texas covers that 21.5 because Florida lost DJ Langway to a hamstring injury.
Big point right there. If he plays,
Their third stringer is coming in. It's already.
if Langway plays, I'd give the Gators a fighting chance.
Fighting chance.
Yeah, they're going to cover that.
Texas.
They're not going to win the game,
Texas
but they're going
needs
to
a
cover it.
statement game.
I agree with you 100%. I'm on Texas here. So I think the three of us say Texas covers the number. Let's go back to what you opened with, Ole Miss and Georgia.
By the way, Texas is coming off the bye week on top of it.
Correct.
So if they get a third string quarterback and a bye week,
Sarkisian's going to have them rolling.
that's a problem.
Don't
kid yourself.
I really do think so. Ole Miss, Georgia.
I think Georgia goes into Ole Miss. They have to win this game.
This is an elimination game.
And Ole Miss has to win this game.
Now, Ole Miss came out and put a statement game up last week. They put a thumping up against Arkansas.
Here's the thing. If Ole Miss wins this game and goes to 7-2, or actually 8-2, I'm sorry. And Georgia's at 8-2.
Georgia's out.
Georgia's out, and they have the tiebreaker basically against the add-ins.
Correct.
Okay, so
Correct.
Georgia has to win this game. And the same with the Alabama-LSU game. Alabama
We'll get to that.
has to win this football game.
All right, so let's go to Georgia and Ole Miss first. Who do you got?
I got Georgia.
Lions, Georgia minus 2.5 right now.
I got Texas beating Florida, covering the spread, and I have Georgia at Ole Miss, and I have them winning by at least 10. They're going to win that game
Really?
big. They're going to win that game big.
I like both teams' offense. I like the kid Jackson Dart, the quarterback from Ole Miss. And I think he can put up numbers against Georgia's secondary. The question is, can Ole Miss's defense stop Carson Beck? And I don't know if he can.
Ole
I
Miss's
don't think so.
defense has players at every level.
They do.
And
That's a great defense.
I'm not saying they don't,
They
but
currently have 91 tackles for loss in 9 games. They can get in the backfield. Carson Beck is 5 for 20 for 17 yards and 4 interceptions in the past 2 weeks when he's been hurried. Ole Miss's defense can do it. Ole Miss can't run the ball.
Look at our buddy Dave bringing the friggin' numbers today.
I love this.
Stats.
Mr. Numbers.
Ole Miss,
Call him Davey Stats.
Ole Miss
love
can't
it,
run the
Dave.
ball.
Davey
love it.
Stats.
What you said
That's
about
what
Jackson
the people
Hurd.
want. You want information, guys? That's it right there. You're
Super
not getting
Dave.
this
So who do
anywhere
you like,
else.
though? You like Georgia or you like Ole Miss?
I'm taking Ole Miss. Cam
I'm
Ward.
taking Georgia.
Cam Ward's the current Heisman winner that we talk about
We're going
right
to say
now.
favorite.
Jackson Dart. He has more yards, a higher completion percentage, and probably better weapons,
If
despite
he wins
losing.
this game,
the SEC's top wide receiver for the past 2 weeks.
Actually, if he wins this game, he kind of bumps up into that top
I think
five.
so because you know what? Cam Ward hasn't beaten anybody.
No.
Cam Ward's gotten attention because they've had 3 come from behind wins against Vodtech.
They beat Florida.
And Cal and Louisville.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what, if Jackson Dart can beat Georgia, that's a more high-profile win to me than anything Cam Ward has. So as far as that game, I'm going to side with Ole Miss. Give me old Lane Kiffin because I love him.
Right.
I love Lane. And he gets his boys up at home in the Grove.
So we got Lucas Landis asking us, what up? Lucas, what is up with you? Let me know who your favorite is this week, and we'll let everybody know who you like.
I love it, guys. Keep sending the questions.
Yeah, keep sending the
questions.
questions.
Drop it in, saying hello. We appreciate all the love.
Lucas, who's your favorite team? Let us know, and we'll let you know who
Lucas, you got a question about a game this week? We'll give you a side.
Let us know. We'll try and guide you in the right way.
Ole Miss, Georgia.
Yes.
Let's go on to, since we have Mr. Michigan here, Indiana opened as a 10.5-point favorite.
14 now.
On the road at Michigan. The line's creeping between 13.5 and 14. A lot of points as a road favorite for a team not used to being in this position.
Michigan will cover.
You're on Michigan, huh?
Yep.
What makes you say that, though? They've shown nothing offensively.
I just think they win at home. I think they cover at home.
Okay.
I think they play hard.
They're in Indiana.
I thought it was at Michigan.
No, it's at Michigan.
It's most definitely at Michigan.
I'm almost positive it's at Michigan. Well, we'll let Dave look at it. I'll give you my opinion.
I'll look it up. You give the opinion, then I'll talk about my opinion.
think that Indiana, I watched Indiana last week. They were down early.
Right.
And then boom, they come back and win by 50.
Right. So, Lucas, you're a Canes fan. The Canes right now
They're at Georgia Tech.
They're at Georgia Tech, and let's face it, the Canes are a playoff team. And if they win out and win the ACC, they'll probably be the 3rd seed, which means they will get a first-round bye in the playoffs.
But does Miami beat Clemson?
Well, I think Miami beats Clemson.
That's on the horizon next week.
Miami will beat Clemson. I don't think that's an issue.
If it's not Clemson, do they play SMU? And look, I watched my boys, my Pitt Panthers, walk into Southern Methodist last week, and SMU stomped a mud hole, and we talked about that.
Right.
And as a Pitt fan, I was going to say I thought they were facing a buzzsaw.
Right.
And SMU kicked the living dog crap out of them.
Right. Well, you know us. We're here at the Seabreeze Lounge, and we stick with our Florida teams.
We do, but we cover it on a national basis.
We cover it on a national basis. Now, I like this Miami team to kind of win out. I really do. I think they're a good team. Defensively, they're not great, but I love Cam Ward.
All they've got left is going to Georgia Tech, hosting Wake Forest, and going to Syracuse.
And then the ACC championship.
And we'll see from there.
They don't have Clemson on the schedule this year.
They don't have Clemson on the schedule this year.
Well, maybe it's just the ACC championship.
Now, I do have to
Clemson
dial
won't
this
be
back.
the ACC championship most likely. Probably going to be SMU.
Clemson hasn't lost a conference game.
I know, but SMU is probably going to end up.
Their only loss was to Georgia, and that's a non-conference loss.
Right. Well, no, Clemson lost last week. Clemson has 2 losses.
Their only
I
loss
don't have
was
time to
Georgia,
check all these facts.
opening week of the year.
Okay. We'll get back into that, but
I like Miami's chances. I like Cam Ward's chances.
Do they go into Georgia Tech and cover? Georgia Tech is Miami.
Georgia Tech is
they do.
Georgia
Tech's getting 11. Stinky good. Miami will do it. I got plenty of it saying Duke was going to cover.
I remember that.
Miami somehow in that 4th quarter took that away from Duke after Duke was leading in the 3rd quarter.
It was 32-31 with like 5 minutes left in the game. I mean, you were talking Scott Van Pelt bad beats.
Right.
This is a bad beat for the legendary annals.
Sean Louisville beat Clemson last week, 33-21. There's their second loss.
That's right.
Now, you asked the Michigan man about the Michigan-Indiana
Yeah,
game.
that's what I'm looking at. It's at
It is
Michigan.
in Indiana.
Is it really? Okay, I stand
Indiana
corrected.
is
Because
undefeated.
I am allowed to be wrong
It was wrong
once a
on
year.
this. It was wrong on the schedule then, because I said the same thing earlier. I still
All
like
right,
Michigan
so-
to cover.
You like Michigan
At
to cover.
Indiana, let's say, even if you, I don't care which way you want to get it, you can get it at 14, you can buy it down to a half, 13 and a half, whatever you want to call it. Do the Wolverines stay within the number? Your opinion?
The Hoosiers trailed for the first time
Last week. I know. We
in
were
their
just talking
season.
about that. They come
They
back
scored-
and win by 50.
They scored 47 unanswered against Michigan State. Michigan beat Michigan State. Michigan has only scored over 24 points one time this year.
Yep. Michigan Blackjacks.
Indiana wants to make a statement, and the Michigan team just doesn't have the offense to keep up. It could get into a slop. Like, I got to check the weather on this one. It could get into a sloppy rugby style
It's
fest.
that time of year, guys.
But-
You always have to look at weather.
But if it's clear skies, you know, Ditka versus the Hurricane.
I'll take
What's
that.
what's the Hurricane's name? I'm taking Indiana.
Hey, back to Cole Churchill here. If you're going to be running the parlay this week, Chase touchdown and Derrick Henry, one TD was 60 yards. I would like. Yeah, I think Derrick Henry gets over 60 yards this week, don't you? And
Oh, if you have a prop bet, if you want to play a parlay,
yeah.
and they got the Bengals tomorrow night, I'd be all over Derrick Henry over 60
Well, he's got
yards.
Zay Flowers over. He's got Zay Flowers over 60 yards.
I like that.
I like that too.
Because Deontay
But he
Johnson,
also has a chase touchdown too in that.
Deontay Johnson isn't coming in that Ravens offense.
I think his three-teamer is Chase getting a touchdown, Derrick Henry with a touchdown, and Zay Flowers over 60 yards.
I like that.
I think that's a great prop bet.
Because I think you're rock solid with the Derrick Henry touchdown.
Yeah, I love that.
I like Zay Flowers over 60. He's just big play material all over the field.
For sure.
And
like that
Jamar Chase, I think T. Higgins plays tomorrow night. But I still think Jamar Chase is your lock-on number one. And,
right.
And especially with Humphreys out for the Ravens at cornerback, it's a great advantage for the Bengals.
Right.
So I'm on that, guys. Let's get on that parlay. Go make that money.
Got anything left for college?
I do. I know we have. By the way, I'm on Indiana. It's not my one of plays of the week, but I am on Indiana. I think they cover the number.
We haven't talked Bama LSU.
Well, Alabama LSU is one of the big games of the week.
I'm all over Bama,
Alabama
man.
-3 at LSU. It's a night game in Death Valley. Dave, what do you think?
Loser goes home.
Loser goes home.
It's just like Georgia Ole Miss.
LSU's been able to put up 332.8 passing yards per game. They're sixth
I like
nationally.
Gary Nussmeier. I think he's a good quarterback.
He's great, but he's very turnover prone. 9 interceptions so far. 7 interceptions in his last 4 starts.
And those are coming.
7.
But those are coming in late in the game.
And
too.
they're big games, too.
But this is a big game.
Yeah. I'm all over Alabama.
Brian Kelly last week at his press conference challenged their next opponents to bring in the RPO because that's what almost beat them.
Right.
Yep.
And I think
I heard that.
Jalen Milroe and Alabama can run a better RPO than anybody he's faced so far.
Could be.
Death Valley is one of the toughest places to win. Alabama.
When's the last time we've seen a 3-loss Alabama team, though? It's just tough to see.
It's got to go back to the early 2000s.
But we're not dealing with the Saban team either, so it's
LSU
a different bowl game.
LSU has 14 straight home wins. Alabama is 11-2 in the past 13 meetings.
I just don't think these are the same Alabama teams.
I don't either.
I don't think this is the same LSU team. I don't trust Brian Kelly.
I don't trust Brian Kelly.
I trust Alabama to.
I like Alabama's athletes to win this football game.
I don't know. I'm not sold on our defense.
I like Alabama's athletes
And watching
to win
them
this football
lose
game.
and get boat raced at Vanderbilt,
Alabama is 22nd in pass rush success
And let's do
and
one
17th
Yeah,
in
so I'm
forcing
going to say
turnovers.
this. I'm going to say this. Put me on LSU. I'll take the 3 at home and a night game at Death Valley, one of the toughest stadiums to play in the country.
I don't blame you for it.
I'm going to take. I
just happen to like Alabama.
I think Nussmeier can throw on that Alabama defense. I'm not saying this is going to be a defensive struggle because I think both teams defensively have big questions.
I think this is a 37-33 football game.
Bingo. And
Yeah.
I'll take LSU, maybe have the ball last,
Yeah.
and win this game. I'll take the 3
I'm
at
taking
home.
Milrose on the road.
Okay. I mean, that's
To
them.
win this football
We all
game.
have different opinions. Last
Yeah.
game, the Holy War. BYU, who is now, I guess, the favorite to be the Group of 5 champion. They have
At
a
Utah.
Boise.
At Utah.
At Utah. And
Utah's
I think,
4-4. They struggled.
I think that they're
Call 'em a dog.
underachieving this year.
Yeah.
I believe that
They
line-
lost Cam Rising. Without
lost
Cam Rising,
Yeah. Not
They're-
to mention they
they're
lost 3
underachieving.
offensive starting linemen.
Yeah,
That
and that
team that went 10.
But that
and 2
line's
last
only 4.5. This game stinks to me.
year. I like BYU.
Dave?
I like BYU big in this game.
I'm going to go exactly the opposite, and I'm going to call Utah my dog of the
Me
week.
too.
They are
Okay.
coming in. Their defense is top 10 in EPA per play. And they're first in success rate. They can cause havoc up front, and if they
And
can lean on a run game,
I'm with you.
where BYU's defense is outside of the top 100 in tackles for loss, Utah can just slowly feed them some medicine and put
to me,
them.
this
Utah's
game-
trying to stop that offense. That offense can score.
This game is a 20-14 game, and I like Utah. Rice Eccles Stadium is one of the toughest stadiums to play with
Oh, yeah.
play in the nation. It's not a huge stadium, only
68,500.
40,000.
Is it 40? I thought it was 68.
And it's like all on top of each other.
Yeah. And the noise is incredible there.
It is. So I'm going to go with Utah here. I'll take the points. BYU may win, but I'll take the 4.5 at home with the dog.
Yeah, I got BYU covering this. I think this goes about 27-17 BYU.
Okay. All right, so let's real quick get to our college picks. Tom, I'll start with
I
you.
just gave them to you all. I got Texas covering. I got Georgia. I got Alabama. And I got BYU.
Okay, Dave?
I've got Alabama. I've got Ole Miss, as I talked about. I got Texas. I got Indiana covering at home, despite the debacle. I got Utah, like I said, as the dog. 2 we didn't talk about, real quick. Penn State, get right time. They're 10th nationally in yards per play with their rushing attack, and Washington can't stop the run. Penn State
I don't
at
remember
home,
what that line is.
13.5.
Yeah,
Penn State hosting Washington. My lock is Penn State
I like
after
Penn State.
losing to Ohio State. Washington traveling, playing early in Penn State. Lock them up. Take Penn State. Call it a
Another
day.
one we didn't talk about was Colorado at Texas Tech.
See,
That's
that's a
my
very
next one.
interesting game.
Colorado's
to
a
me.
3.5-point favorite. I like Texas Tech to win that football game.
See you later,
They've
Tom.
gotten surprisingly better over the year because I was a fade on Texas Tech earlier in the year.
I just like Texas Tech to win that football game. Just, I don't know what it is.
It's a must-win for Colorado.
It's an absolute must-win.
Colorado took second in the Big 12 on a bye week.
Yep.
And is going to Texas Tech.
Yeah, I like Texas Tech in this one. Sean, who
I'm
you're for this week?
actually going to be the other way. I'm going to lay the 3.5 with Colorado.
Okay.
I think because they have a lot to play for with technically a Big 12 title on the line for them.
Possibly, yeah.
Shador Sanders is top 8 in the nation in pass yards, completion percentage, and
Shadur
touchdowns.
Sanders is
Yeah,
that
he's-
good.
he's having a hell of a
He's
year.
that good.
Texas
So-
Tech is 120th in points allowed per game.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
Colorado's coming in.
I think this is going to be a high-scoring game.
Off a bye, loaded for bear.
Yep.
Colorado's
So-
defense is very average. I
I'm
think it's a
gonna-
high-scoring game.
I'm going to take Colorado. I really wanted to take Indiana, but my only fear with this game, not that they can't beat Michigan, but how much of a look ahead is this to Ohio State next week?
It's not.
You don't think so? I don't know
It's not.
how
Michigan-
they can't not be
Michigan-
looking ahead to Ohio State.
Here's the thing, you got to play
Michigan
Michigan and Ohio
can't-
State back to back. You don't look ahead of either one. You prepare for each one.
I'm
And
afraid
Sick
they
Daddy will
are.
have them prepared.
But
and
now
ready
you
to
got.
go.
But now you got to prepare for the 3 different quarterbacks Michigan is putting out there, and none of
Yeah.
which have been effective.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to look
While I
ahead.
have a heavy lean,
And I hate to say it.
heavy lean to Indiana, I'm not going to take it. I am, however, going to agree with you on Penn State. I'll lay the points against just a depleted Husky team. They're not that good. They're game, but they just don't have enough. So I'm going to take Penn State. I'm going to take Colorado. I'm going to take Texas, even though I'm a Gator fan. Gators are just out of it. Just hang it up. Please go fire Billy Napier. I know they're not going to because he's owed too much money next year and they're cheap. And then my dog of the week's going to be Ole Miss.
Wow. Okay.
And I like LSU, and I'm probably going to bet LSU, but I can only make so many picks for the show. So
Right.
those are my 3 and my dog. I did hit my dog again last week with South Carolina. Hell yeah.
If you want an extra one,
Yeah, go ahead.
Carolina hosting the Giants could be the Grim Reaper for Brian.
Well, it is the Grim
Daboll.
Reaper because it's the worst game in the history of the NFL.
But
We were
Ca-
talking about this
If
pre-show.
Carolina wins,
How does
Dable
the
might be
NFL
gone.
continue to send shit teams like this over there for games in Europe?
They watch them. They don't care.
We don't in the States, though. It'll be the lowest rated game on NFL Network ever. But if you want to bet it and be a degen like we've been known to be, I'd probably take the Panthers.
Right.
Bryce Young didn't look half bad last week.
Who knows?
and,
But
it,
anyways.
and it cost Dennis Allen.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap it up, guys. We brought a lot on the NFL, college. Don't even get into college basketball starting soon. I'm licking my chops here.
I'll see you later. I'm only here for football.
Dave's only for
I'm
football.
only here for football. Yep.
But, guys, a lot of good information today. We thank you for chiming in with questions. Keep bringing your questions. We'll answer them during the show. Keep hitting that subscribe button. Keep hitting that like button. That's all we ask because it helps keep our channel going. The more the merrier. So otherwise, I think that's all we got, boys. Till next week.
Sounds good.
Dave?
Good
Be
to
a
me.
fun weekend. Fun weekend.
Midwest Tommy Teist and Super Dave Kreuz. I am the magnificent one, Sean Mayall. We will see you next week, Wednesday, from the Seabreeze Lounge in Palm Harbor, Florida. Guys, it's been the Florida Gambling Boys Football Frenzy on YouTube. And coming next week, TikTok. Don't forget.